Hi, I'm Rachel. Welcome to the Stews. Come on in.
You've got a history of 25 years of being here, but there's a lot more history to this site, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah. Some mornings you wake up and we have deer grazing on the lawn. Yes, it is very much a quality product.
Today I'm here in the beautiful Worcestershire countryside at the Stews. It is a house that we built 7.5 years ago, and it is currently on the market for offers over £2 million. And you know you're rural when you can see ahead of you a ford where the depth goes up to 6 feet deep. We're heading down to an amazing house called the Stews, and it's always great to see a project like this. Amazing history. It was mentioned in the Domesday Book, so it goes back to 1066. There were people here then. So we have 3,300 square feet of beautiful space. Why don't you come and have a look around with me? Good morning, Rachel.
Hi, too.
7 years now, is it?
7.5.
7.5 years.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, it'd be great to have a look around.
Please follow me in.
Good stuff.
It's nice and warm inside. Do come in, too.
Thank you. Oh, crikey. Yes, just how I remember. It's looking lovely. So great to be here, and I think you've been on the site for 25 years.
We have, that's right, yes.
How did you find the plot? How did that come about originally?
Strange story, really. We had no intention of moving. Lived in a little village a couple of miles down the lane. One day, had somebody come knock on the door, said, "Would you be interested in selling your property?" So, oh, okay. I'll speak to my husband about this, he was at work at the time. So we discussed it, and it had been something on our mind that we did want to sort of get something bigger as the children were growing. So we agreed a sale with the guy, and literally within 4 weeks had found this place which was on the market.
Yes.
And completed and moved in, which was amazing because that doesn't happen these days.
How did your idea move towards oak framing? Can you remember how that actually happened?
It was something that we'd always wanted. I love the tactile feel of the wood, but we wanted sort of slight twist with the contemporary. So when the idea started to grow, we then started to look, and we came to one of the build shows.
Yes.
Saw you guys there, and we actually came and stayed a couple of times at the place in Hereford just to get a feel.
At the show home.
And yeah, and then it cemented for us that that's what we wanted to do, an oak frame building.
Darren?
So unfortunately, Darren can't be with us today because he's sunning himself out in Portugal where he now lives. I'm just being the custodian of the place for the time being.
And you are selling the house.
That's right, sadly, but obviously it's time to move on, new chapter, and to give somebody else the wonderful opportunity.
You've got a history of 25 years of being here, but there's a lot more history to this site, isn't there?
Absolutely, yes. So we are actually listed in the Domesday Book, the Stew Ponds. So as far as we are aware from our research, originally there was a settlement of monks, and stew ponds, obviously, were the breeding ponds for the fish, for the locality. So somebody has been on the site for over 1,000 years,
over
really.
1,000 years now, yeah, crikey.
So very interesting.
I noticed that there are the poppies, poppies which come from the Tower of London.
That's correct, yes. So I think
2018.
It was 2018, the 100-year anniversary. We'd again done some more research on the history of the house. I found a story about the family who lived here pre-First World War. They had 8 sons. The 8 actually went to the First World War, but unfortunately 4 of them didn't survive and lost their lives, which was extremely sad. And when I knew the story and I saw the poppies, I thought it would be such a nice gesture to have a poppy to commemorate each of those sons.
So here we are in the kitchen, beautiful space, open plan, huge piece of marble on the island. I mean, a wonderful place for cooking.
Yeah, I mean, this is the hub of the home, really. We have the pizza stones in the ovens, warming drawer, coffee machine, and then we have the rising extractor here.
Ah, yeah, very much home automation.
Yes, we've got quite an extensive home automation system here with Lutron lighting. We have a sound system with speakers in each room, and we can have lots of different sort of scenes with our lighting, mood
settings,
lighting,
yes.
Exactly, yes. And it's a wonderful entertaining space. So obviously, because we have the family room at the end, you can be busy doing what you do in the kitchen, and then obviously chatting.
Still chatting to your friends, they're there. As we come into the family space here, we rise up into the vault, which works well, doesn't it? I think gives a nice feeling of space. The Scandinavian wood burner behind us, so it's got sort of a soapstone on the outside there. We've got bifolders each side, triple glazed windows. There is a lovely feature of these windows, which I'm amazed at, and it is the blinds.
That's right, they're integrated. So one way you have a fly screen, so
Yes.
if you've got the bifolders open fully, and then the other way it's a blackout blind.
By having them opposite sides of the room, you get the breeze gently flowing through. But if you've got the flies, obviously surrounded by farmland and what have you, pull the fly screen across, got the breeze coming through, nice and cool, absolutely magnificent. We must not forget, we are in an award-winning home. So
Thanks to you guys,
well,
yes.
I can safely say here that what you've created around the oak frame, your hard work and thought and detail that runs all around
That's
the
what,
oak
it's
frame.
like we said earlier, it's the fusion, isn't it, of the sort of the modern with that traditional oak frame.
So on the construction side, you worked with a contractor?
We did, yes. So we had a groundswork company in the first instance with the foundations,
Yes.
because that was a major project in itself.
So that is really one of the most important things, is finding a good builder for the plot, or somebody you can get on with. Also, there's an added complexity here, because you're on a site that's been lived on or actually talked about within the Domesday books.
That was a clause in our planning that we had to have a watching brief with the archaeologist on site when we were at ground level. We actually did find the foundations of a Victorian cottage.
Oh,
they
right.
found as they were sort of digging up, they found the footings of that. So that was quite interesting.
One of the wonderful parts about the house is the balconies, which we're on the eastern balcony.
That's right, yes.
Good.
The breakfast balcony, as I like to call it.
We've also creating below us a veranda space, aren't we? We're doing
Yes, a sort
shadow.
of covered area.
Yeah,
Yes.
very good. And behind us, obviously, here we've got the sort of face glazing on the doors there, along with the oak weatherboarding, haven't we, which has worked well.
Yes, and it's aged very nicely now.
One of the joys of designing your own home is you can design exactly for how you live, but also I know that when yourself and Darren were putting the design together, you did have one eye to the future, didn't you? So the space we're in could be an extra bedroom, couldn't it?
It could be indeed, yeah. I mean, the versatility here, it could be a plethora of things, really.
Yeah.
It's my meditation area. It's my favourite area, I think, in the house. It's so restful, and we have the most amazing views from each aspect.
John Williams was the architect, designer for your home. How did that relationship work?
His forethought and vision was excellent. Top of our wish list was always, we wanted an upstairs sitting room, which obviously he's been able to incorporate. And the good thing with John is he listened and was very proactive in sort of giving us what we wanted at the end of the day and working with the limited sort of space that we had.
So master bedroom, lovely vaulted space here. We've got the ensuite behind us here, it's great. Behind the wall here, got a full dressing area. Lovely balcony leading out of the master bedroom. So half of it covered, half of it leading on out. And on the first floor, the one bedroom is actually given over to a gym.
That's right, yes. So I always wanted a gym, and also I do my yoga practice in there as well. So it's nice that it's something we can shut away, but obviously it's a third bedroom really, but that suits our needs.
Yes, really with the master bedroom, one of the things here I'm just noticing is that the chandelier here matches the chandelier on the landing.
That's right, we replicated. This is slightly smaller than the one over the stairwell.
Yeah.
We had these bespoke made for us. Interestingly, we found out that the actual glass part of the chandelier was made 5 miles down the road at our local craft centre. So again, a nice local sort of connection there.
Having been here for 7 years now, Rachel, how have you found living with the settlement of the oak frame?
It's actually like it's a living being, if you like, because the sort of you hear the sounds, the cracks and the movement. And I think over time, when the cracks start opening up, they become part of that really lovely tactile nature of the wood.
Yes.
And I just think it enhances it. The older it gets and weathered, the better it becomes.
So here we are, balcony off the master bedroom. What I love here is how you've allowed the space to come out from the sort of creating the veranda space or the covered space, plus you've got the balcony coming on out.
It's a real sun trap here, and like you say, the covered area. If we're sort of sat out reading and it's raining, which quite often does here, so you have the best of both worlds with that, the way that that's constructed.
Just thinking about the construction of the house, and I know here you chose to go for our natural walling system. The running of the house, how has that been?
Oh, it's amazing. It's night and day from the old place. It's always so cosy. To be quite honest, we don't really have the heating on that much. I mean, if it's on for a few days, the house will remain warm for days and days, and it's very economical. We only probably fill up the gas tank twice a year.
Yes.
And that runs obviously the heating and the hot water. Some mornings you wake up and we have deer grazing on the lawn, and it's just so lovely. Just sit there in bed and think, oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
We've got 3 herons nesting actually at the moment.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Lovely.
We have kingfishers. You see all sorts here. It's just lovely.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for giving me a tour of your beautiful home. And finally, I'd just like to ask you, what are your top tips for self-builders?
Initially, what I would say, put the legwork in first. We spent about 4 years before we actually embarked upon the project by attending shows, looking at all the products that are available to you. There's so much to you actually get support for choice. It's quite overwhelming, to be quite frank. Another thing that I would say, the relationship you have with your architect is very important. It made life so much easier that he was coming from the same place that we were and was able to, you know, offer us so much advice and help. Financially, do not expect to spend what you anticipate to spend, because that will never be the case. You will always go over budget.
Yes.
So I would say the word for me, flexibility with a build. You have to be flexible in so many ways because things can change so quickly and you have to adapt to them. So being able to adapt to things that might change that you didn't initially sort of expect to happen. At the time that we built, this was going to be our forever home, so we didn't want to skimp and scrape. We wanted what we wanted and the best of. So obviously, again, cost ran slightly higher because of that factor.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and I'm sure with selling the house, you will command a premium price because of what you have created.
Yes, it is very much a quality product.
We've had a fantastic time here at the Stews today on our guided tour. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. You know the score. Like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. We'll try and come back to you and answer your questions, and look forward to more exciting videos coming soon.